Yes. All right, so we are going here today. This is an extra credit assignment. If we have time, we'll come back to it at end of class. So translation, rotation, reflection is the beginning of programming of motion. Say programming motion. And you're going to see this revisited second semester. You can't program a robot unless you have the math that tells it to translate, rotate, etc. So the math, all of this is a precursor. Shortcuts. Okay, go like this. When triangles are equal, say whole triangles are equal. Say 3 pair sides, 3 pair of angles. How many total pairs? 6. Okay, then we're going to jump into shortcuts. The shortcuts say minimum of 3. If you have a minimum of a certain 3 combo, that enables you to indirectly measure things that you can't directly measure. It's used a lot in what we commonly call surveying. You're going to get a chance to see that about 2 lessons from now. So these shortcuts have meanings, but you don't know the meanings yet. We just have to get you to spot the shortcuts. All right, go to your reference booklet and we're going to recap this very quick. Very quick. So reference booklet, where are we? Open noteboard right here. And reference booklet. Is that it? Right there? Yep, right there. All righty, guys. We're going to zoom through this. We're going to be together about 10 minutes. So translation is just a slide. Yes, sir. We're in your reference booklet, sir. And Ruben will help you. Thank you. Thank you.
Right. I got it.
Okay. Ready. A reflection is like a mirrored image. Mirrored image. So go like this with your hands. If you can fold it and it's exactly the same, it's a reflection. Susan, can you use the lights, please? And rotation is you have an anchor point and it rotates. There's rotation. All 3 of these motions, what's the significance of these motions is if you do any of these 3 motions, you're going to end up with congruent triangles. Any 3 of these motions will give you triangles which are exactly the same. So right here, I'd like you to cite what is the motion of the left to the right triangle. Write it down. Go. What is the motion? Write it down. Out loud, what is it?
Rotation.
Rotation. You are correct. See, we take this and we technically rotate it this way. This goes to that corner and this goes up. So it is rotation. So we know that W is congruent to which angle? E. X is congruent to Y. And then Y here is congruent to C. So what that says, go like this with your fingers. Say whole triangle equal. Then all the parts are equal. You can do the same with sides, but that's too much. I'm just giving you, and we have an acronym for that. Corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent. Corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent. Corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent. Say it with me. Corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent. One more time. Corresponding parts of congruent triangles are congruent. So that's commonly called CPCTC. Don't panic. Okay, that seems like a lot to memorize. If you want to say it this way, I will take it on a test. Whole equal, parts equal, that's fine with me. If that makes more sense to you, Alex will use CPCTC. You just have to recognize it. But when you write for me today, whole equal, parts equal, totally fine. Now, everyone likes the shortcuts. So there are 4 shortcuts. 4 shortcuts. Shortcut says this: if you have a minimum of this 3 combo, everything else is automatically equal.
Other than ASS.
SSA is the polite way of saying it. Yes, I totally correct. No, he's illustrating what is not acceptable. All right. So on the left is, I'm just showing you what it should look like. So when I pause, you say, we have a pair of what? Sides, another pair of sides, and a third pair of sides. Okay, so that's what I call an easy diagram. Here's on the right, a little bit more complicated. You have to watch out for your freebies here. Ready? Sweep this. When I pause, you say sides or angles. Right now we have a pair of, okay, 1S for each pair. Here we have a pair of, got it? This is a shared wall. It's automatically congruent even if it's not marked. So it gives us another pair of sides. So that's called side, angle, side. Right? Side, side, side. Yes, it would be. Making sure you paid attention. Good job, auditory learners. Yes, sir.
Could it also be side, angle, side?
We don't know that because there's no freebies here. There's no vertical angles. You can't just willy-nilly mark them equal. Yeah. Okay. Ready? Down here. Mark this. When you're done marking, put your pencil down super quick. Okay, go like this, say side, side. Put your fingers together, friends. Say squeeze angle. Okay, the angle has to be between the 2 pairs of sides. That's why I call it a squeeze angle. So this spells side, angle, side. Okay. If the angle is not squeezed between the sides, in other words, it's 2 sides, then an angle, that is not possible. It's called the ambiguous case. It has a mathematical reason. The easy way for you to remember it is no bad word spelled either way. Angle, side, angle does not work. It's it depends if you're living in Shakespeare's day or not. So, all right, next shortcut. There's 2 more. Super quick. Oh, we did not, Zach. Good catch, sir. All right. Ready, guys? On the right hand here. Ready? Trace, trace. Out loud, we have a pair of sides. Sweep, sweep. We have a pair of angles, and then there is something that's congruent but not marked right down the middle. There is your second pair of sides. That is an example of side, angle, side. Good catch. Right up here. Ready? That's the easy version. Okay, out loud, we have a pair of angles. Then we have a pair of sides, and then another pair of Okay, so take a look on the right-hand side. I'm going to color code it for you. We have an angle, then we have an angle, and the side, I call it the hamburger. Okay, go like this. Make your two angles. Two angles. Okay, go like this. Say angle,
Angle.
short,
Short.
angle. Okay, do it again. Say angle, short,
Short.
angle. That's angle, side angle. Now, juicy hamburger, quickly hold your hand like this and quickly tell a neighbor if you were going out for the juiciest, bestest hamburger, where are you going? Go. Now,
I like it.
Bye,
I
guys.
like the milkshake.
habit,
Habit.
good, whatever.
Let's make it habit.
All right, guys, here's an example of angle, side angle. Right here, we have a pair of, out loud, kiddos, we have a pair of
Angle.
angles. Here we have a pair of sides, and then we have a pair of angles. So that's an example of angle, side.
This way, I know how to find like the A's and S's. I don't know like how to find like
Well, okay, take a look here. Is the side touching both angles? Is it
Yes,
touched?
it is.
Okay, go like this. Then your hamburger patty is touching both angles, therefore it's angle, side. Yeah. All right, last one, friends, last one. Then we'll do a couple problems together. All right, this one is angle, angle, then a side. Pair of angles, another pair of angles, then a side. I call this the tail because you have a one angle. Let's go back here. Another angle, think dog's rear end, and then the side is the tail of only one angle. And it can spell angle, angle, side, or side, angle, angle. That's interchangeable. That's totally fine.
side angle angle.
Side angle, angle is totally fine. Down in this one, it looks like this. I'll color code it for you so it matches. We have a pair of angles. We have another pair of angles, then a side. Do you see how the side is only attached to one of the two pairs of angles? That's why it's a tail. So you can see determining what's congruent is going to be freakishly important. Turn the page. There are three sources of congruency. Three sources of congruency. Given, implied, freebies. Hold up 3 fingers. There's 3 sources of congruency. What's the first one?
Given.
What's the second? What's the third? Do
Do
it again. What's the first one?
Given.
Second?
Implied.
Third?
Freebie.
It looks like this, friends. Looks like this. What is it? 1210? Okay, we should be done. Yeah. All right. So given looks like this. It's marked for you. If it's marked for you, it's given. Or you're told like an approved. So that's an example of given. Implied right here. AC bisects BAD. Sweep, trace and sweep, bisect. Write that down. Wherever we're, yes.
17.
Okay, bisect. Then it's implied that these are equal. That's an example of implied. These two angles are equal. I'll just call them angles 1 and 2. You can always add numbers if you want to make it easy. Okay, coming down here, freebies. These are things that are congruent, but they're not marked for you. You have to spot them and mark them. There are 3 of them. First one, a reflexive side. It's just the fact that it's like an apartment wall. This wall shared exactly between my room and her room. Okay, therefore it's congruent to itself.
But like, for the 3, like, how do you know?
It's a freebie.
Oh,
It's these are what I call free, because if you see them, you can mark them. Okay, ready? Trace this blue triangle. Then trace the green triangle. They share exactly the same angle. Tell a neighbor, which angle do they exactly overlap at? Mhm. So H would be called a reflexive angle. And then, of course, you have the ubiquitous bow ties, which are vertical angles. Okay, keep that where you can see it. Go to the first page of today's lesson. First page of today's lesson. All right, I'm gonna walk you through two of these, what are called proofs. Proof just means explain. Don't get hung up on the word proof. You're just explaining stuff. All I want you to do, I'm gonna give you 30 seconds. I want you to read these three pieces of information. 1, 2, and 3. And I want you to mark it on the diagram. That's it. That's all I want you to do. You got 30 seconds. Go. Don't do anything else. Just mark those two things on the diagram.
Wait, how do I write E?
You can use brackets or color. Guys, colors really make this rock. Okay, so if you've got colors, I'd use them. All right, this is what it should look like, or something like this. Number 1, parallel lines should always be stretched out. And the marking here is not a hatch mark, it's an arrow feather. Do not confuse parallel with congruency. I like to check or cross stuff out as I account for it. A is congruent to C. That was an easy one. Check. And then I have A to E, I'm going to use brackets, is congruent to C to F. Okay, that's your given. We are trying to prove, just trace with me right now, ABE. Put your pencil, ABE, just trace it like 3 times. Trace that triangle. Do you feel it? Is congruent to which triangle? Out loud?
Yeah.
See? Yeah. So do you see how they're overlapping? If you've got overlapping stuff, you should automatically start pulling it apart. Otherwise, it gets super confusing. So I'm going to pull it apart. Now I'm going to pull down what I originally had as given. These were parallel. Okay, these were congruent. CD. Oh, Zach, you are on top of it. I would love to claim I did that on purpose, but I did not. But yay for keeping me on my toes. All right, this is going to be angles 1 and 2. And we are told that this is equal to that. All right, we are done with our given. Implied and freebies usually go together. Quickly, in your groups, Actually, let's do what's given so far. When I pause, you say sides or angles. Right here, we have a pair of, okay, so we got an A, circle it so you don't get it confused with that A. Right here, we have a pair of, I'm going to put an S here, circle it. Quickly, swing around in your groups. What else has to be equal and why? In your group, shove your heads together, talk about it. What else has to be congruent and why? Okay, guys, watch, look up here. You see the parallel lines? Make them like this, go like this so you can see it. It is going to be these angles right here. They are called corresponding. Watch out for those. Watch out for corresponding angles. Also watch out for armpits of the Z anytime you have parallel. So that means this angle is also congruent to this angle. When I pause, you say sides or angles. Right now we have a pair of angles. Okay. We're trying to prove these triangles are congruent. We already have our answer. What shortcut? We got it. Okay. Freebies. We talked it through. It's going to be ASA. Now we're going to write it up to show you how detailed I want. So in the margin, put ASA, and then we're going to go for triangles congruent. So this is like a little outline. Yeah. Ready? I'm going to go for my first A. I'm going to go for the easy one, which is this. Ready? Angle this congruent to this because it is given. I like to put in the margin, there is my one pair of angles. Then we know, what is that, AE? Okay, so I'm going to continue. Also, AE congruent to CF. Why? Because it is given. That's a pair of sides. Now be careful. I cannot automatically say 1 and 2 are equal. There's something I have to say beforehand. Tell a neighbor, before I can say 1 and 2 are equal, what has to be mentioned? Ask or tell. Yeah, yeah. You excellent. I was hearing it. Very nice job. So it is given the fact that BE is parallel. Is that DF? DF. So because of, you must name the angles there. See that blank right there? Ask a neighbor what goes there if you don't know. What kind of angles? No. What kind of angles? The reds. Yeah, it's corresponding angles. You have to be able to spot those. All that unit 2 stuff with parallel lines. Okay. All we're trying to do is get the triangles equal. We have angle, side, angle. Do we have a legitimate shortcut? Yes. Now, you must be specific. Watch. Triangle ABE. Finally. Ta-da. Okay, turn the page. Do one. When you're finished writing, turn the page. You're gonna go halfway through this. All right, I want you to swing around, shove your desks together with your quad mates. Go. Turn around, shove your desks together with your new quad mates. All right. All I want you to do in your quads, you're not going to write, but you are going to mark the given, mark what's implied, mark the freebies, and have a talk through why are the triangles equal and why would those angles be? You're talking, not writing. Leave the writing for me. You've got 2 minutes as a team. Go. Turn around. Work together. Around. Work together. Thought through. Lights on. Leave the writing for me, friends. You got 2 minutes. Here you go, Daniel. Just 2 minutes, friends, and then I'm going to regroup and we're going to write together. Talk it through. Mark everything on the diagram and then have a chat. Your ultimate goal is to be able to explain that. So let's talk it through. Obviously, like this, you first have to say the whole triangles are equal. And the parts. Obviously, here, guys, at some point you have to say the whole triangles are equal, the parts are equal. You have to figure out what shortcut's going on here. Talk it through, guys. It's all right, guys. The only trying to figure out. Trying to figure out why they're trying to do the shortcut are you seeing? We're on the right track, guys. In 1 minute, we're gonna regroup, friends. Ruby just needs to.
We're not doing the write-up, right?
No, I'm doing the write-up with you guys. All right, I think you guys got it. Let's check, see how far you got. Okay, take a look up here. Step number 1 is you should have stretched this out. Rule number 1 with parallel lines, stretch it out, arrow feathers. 3 teams did it, 2 teams did not. So that's parallel.
We get points off.
That's correct, you will. Plus you have to have the arrow feathers. Okay, you're then told that AB and CD are congruent. When I pause, you say sides or angles. The blue, right now we have a pair of, okay, there's a pair of sides. Then we go down this way, right here. This is a midpoint, so I'm going to circle it going this way. Okay, which implies we have another pair of sides. Because of the parallel lines, show me with your fingers, one hand for one, one hand for the other. Put your fists like this. Okay, everyone's going to flash it at the same time. Don't change your answer, because if the minority's been right, the majority's been wrong before. Which pair of angles, do not say it out loud, because of the green, must be congruent? Flash them to me right now. Which ones? You got 3 pairs. Is it 1, 2? Is it 5, 6? Or is it 3, 4? Okay, you are correct. It's 1, 2. Those of you have 1, 2. 1, 2. Okay, well, what we're going for, it says right here, we're trying to prove 3 and 4 congruent. So squiggle, squiggle, question mark. There is no direct way to prove 3 and 4 congruent. Not because of parallel lines. So what we're going to do, guys, go like this with your hands. Say whole equal, parts equal. If we can show the whole triangle's equal, then the parts are equal. And the whole triangle is equal. Thumbs up if you said side angle side.
You ready? Okay, that's where we're going. Now we're gonna do the write-up together. Okay, ready? Down the margin. Side, angle, side, triangle congruent. That's whole. Angles congruent. That's where we're going. Always make yourself a little outline, then you won't get lost. We
Angles 1 or 2.
corresponding. They're corresponding.
Oh,
Yeah, it's indirect. It's by the parallel lines, it's indirect. Okay, ready? We're gonna go for the easy sides, which is this one right here. We know that AB congruent to CD. Why is that true? Because it is given. You can shortcut the grammar just a little bit. In the margin, I'm gonna write the word sides. Woohoo.
Wait, didn't you already write that on the left one?
You're correct. I'm just getting in a habit of reinforcing. Whatever. Yes, fine. Okay, before we can say 1 and 2 are equal, what do we first have to mention? What kind of lines? What about them? Parallel. So we have to say it is given AB parallel to CD. So angle 1, angle 2, because of corresponding angles. There is your angles. So before I can say 1 and 2 are congruent, I have to talk about the parallel lines. Everything's what and why. What's equal? Why is it equal? Next, we're going to go for these other pair of sides, which is, I know that A to C is congruent, C to E, because it is given C is midpoint of AE. There is your sides. Do we have sufficient information to say the triangles are equal? The answer is yes, but you have to be specific. Triangle, I'm going to name one and you name its match. B, A, C. Triangle B, A, C. What's its match? BAC. What's its match? DCE. Yes, DCE is congruent by what shortcut? What's a shortcut? Yeah, SAS. Almost there. Now we can nail it. Finally, angle 3 congruent to angle 4 by fancy name, corresponding parts, congruent triangles are congruent, or you can just write whole congruent parts congruent. Ta-da. All right, you have 15 minutes in class. You have 3 measly problems. 3, only 3. Most of you at 6, 7, and 8. Go. 6, 7, and 8. I'm available. Daniel's available. Yeah, I'll be happy to help. Let me just. Yes, you have 3 problems. You have 15 minutes. 3 problems. You have 15 minutes. Give and implied freebies. Work in your groups. You get stuck. Work with your quad mates, please. Read stuff out loud. Cass. What? Mr. Suarez. Amber. Cody.
Thank you.
Jana. Zach. What do you mean? Eli.
For this one?
And
Let's pass beyond that. Delete. Now I'm starting to do what? Question. Charles. Gonzalez. Washington. We go Sanji. Sanji, it's you. Yes. Yeah, right. And switch. Which should be in the microphone. Elon. Elon over there. Cunningham. Okay, students, warning. A sign off means I'm gonna grill you on the last problem. So this is not an easy sign off, just to let you know. Okay? Yeah, I will grill you personally for every sign off. You must, I call it pay the troll. Friends, gonna come in and check on you. Okay, okay, we're trying to prove by the two. And we're gonna do that by showing. Oh, which triangle, trace it, triangle is congruent to this term. By which shortcut? So that's the direction. So you start with which angles are congruent. So which angles are congruent? No, that's your target. Trace DB. And now speed A angle ABC. ABC. A. Yeah. So which two angles are congruent? 1 and 2, but you have to explain why. Okay, so that's your first sentence. We're marking the first trace. Yeah. Hi guys. How are we doing? License, blah blah blah. Okay. How do you know that's true? And I give you one.
When you say A.
That is your reason for everything. Yes, you have to say there's food in the fridge before I cook. This is the food in my fridge. Give it. Yes, sir. Okay.
That's good to know about.
Glorious.
The first angle. First angle.
Yeah. Yes, we are. Well, why don't we, okay, when I pause, you say section, I have a pair up, I have a pair up. Good, and then we're just. Right, it is given by the vertical.
Equals 0. Press equals 0.
And then, you don't, okay, 3 and 4 are given as equal, that's your target.
Maple syrup.
You can't say 3 and 4 is equal because I'm trying to prove it. You first have to say that. Triangles we got first. They're gonna be equal because of what shortcut. Side to side. Triangle side. And triangle, what is the matter? Whole equal, parts equal. That's how you know.
Hello.
Which side has nothing. You're right. There's a name for it. It's congruent to itself. Congruent to itself. That's right, like this.
Oh.
TV. Root two.
Yeah.
That, bro.
You say, I think one person now, you like. It's an apartment. It's an apartment. Yes. Hi, guys. It's not. Okay, it's just going to itself. Okay, so you buy it, you look at it, you're in here and you see your reflection. Good, so you're right. See. Guys, so let's see it. You're right. Is not anything. Okay, let's walk ourselves. It says T is the midpoint of S to T. S to T. Base S to T.
Okay.
T fit, so what has to be? S to T is equal to T to B. That's your first paragraph. One S.
Wait, what? So is the
Yeah, got it. Then it's also the midpoint of UV, trace UV. U. W not. Which two sides are now even?
Right now.
W to T and T to U, double hatch, there's no S. Got it. So far, we have two pairs of sides, one here and one here, sir. Okay, that's get another S. Okay, it's one, yeah. Okay, there's a PB here, Elias. Where's the? One and two. There's an A. So why are one and two? Vertical angle.
Okay. So, number
Yeah, vertical angle. Now, then you say, like this. Equal, parts equal, but. Around. No, it's the short cut. Side, angle, side. That's step 3. Step 5. Equal these parts. Only both parts. I got a line here when Elias comes back. Okay.
okay, wait.
What's happening here?
I know there's parallel.
There's a B there. There's something that's normal.
Oh, the
Step 1, which angles are you want? Which side are you? Full triangle. Number one is I. How we doing?
And that's what this was.
Okay, it's very important, you just don't really know what you're doing. Let's turn them off. She's been quiet.
Perhaps we have the experts
Just trace
design
that.
school and.
What is he because he? Yes. Today's gonna do this. Let's see. That's where we go. That's where it's going. That's where we go. It's also the. Now, done with this. You come in. You're looking now, implied, what else has to be congruent? What I should. Now, you're trying to find the thing you like this question. But you can't directly say that. It's just okay, you can do it. That's we're the whole area, like, we're not saying the whole sequel, then
It's siding.
What short? One sentence each. So it's which sides are equal in line, which angles are equal. No. Students, for sign off, are you welcome to come in immediately after school? Right, so please go after school. Okay.
Cody, oh. That is not my shit.